Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Now, before we get into this, make sure you join me on my Telegram channel. I've got a link to that in the live chat and also the description below. So we post a lot of different trading setups there throughout the week, and don't be missing out on that. So make sure you go check that out. But like I said, I'm just going to walk you through what's happening in the market today and see if we've got any opportunities coming our way. So first we're going to start off with AUD/USD. You can see with this one we had a bit of a bearish candle today at 10 a.m. As you can see here. So again, nice push to the upside yesterday, and then we had that bearish candle this morning. So it looks like price might be forming another lower high potentially. As you can see with this trend line, price hasn't actually come up to touch the trend line yet. With obviously the move that we had yesterday, but price is looking bearish currently right now. And as you can see, we've been forming those lower highs in the market, but price has still been holding that same support. So maybe with that change of momentum that we had this morning for the 10 a.m. candle there, we might see another push to the downside there for AUD/USD, another push to the downside, creating a lower high, and maybe have another attempt at trying to break through that support and either see a break or maybe see price bounce back and be bullish again. But for AU, you can see we had a really nice close down 10 a.m. for the 4H. I think we could be forming another lower high, not quite the trend line yet, but I still think the momentum could take us to the downside for AU, and we could see a nice push back to this support, and we might see a break potentially, or if we hold, probably see another push back up again. EUR/USD, very very strong close to the downside at 10 a.m. as you can see here, very strong 10 a.m. candle. I did say yesterday that we're probably going to be expecting to see a push to the upside first, but I do think EUR/USD is still on its way down to go and test the lows down here. As you can see, really nice support there in the market. So I do believe potentially price could be on its way to go and test that area, especially with the momentum off that 10 a.m. candle. Might see a bit of retrace on the lower time frames, but still expecting to see that momentum continue down to the downside to go and test the support down there, as long as we stay underneath the resistance up there, which price has been respecting quite well. As you can see, kind of consolidated that a little bit at it last week. Saw a really strong 10 a.m. candle yesterday. Price was moving quite choppy, pushed the upside, found resistance again, and now price is falling back to the downside. So yeah, I do expect EUR/USD to continue to the downside and go and test the support lower. Hey, how are you doing? Hope you're alright. Are you in any trades? I'd like to find out, see how they're going. USD CAD, we're looking bullish again for this one. Again, for this one, we are still stuck in a range here, so it's not really clear for USD CAD which way it wants to go, because yesterday it looked like it wants to continue to the downside. Now it's looking like it wants to go back up again. So clearly we're stuck in a range when we have an indecision like that in the market. We've got clear level of support below us there, clear level of resistance just above us. But right now price is just kind of just moving up and down, just consolidating, ranging really. We do have a bit of like a minor support level through here in the market. As you can see, support there, support is holding again. So might see another push back to the upside, back to go and test the resistance up there. That could be a possibility, but right now again, not too sure where my bias is for USD CAD. If you do see a break of this level, I'll probably do expect to see a nice counter trend move continuing to the upside for much higher for USD CAD. But right now you can see we're still stuck in this range. Right now price is holding out the support, so we might see another push back up again, but as well not too convinced with the price action we getting for this pair. Very choppy right now for USD CAD. USD CHF, we had a very strong bullish close to the upside there. As you can see, very strong close there. Price found some support, previous resistance, turn support there. So yeah, I probably am expecting USD CHF to continue to the upside for this pair, about to go and test the resistance up there for again for the millionth time. As you can see, we tested this resistance multiple times, been holding very well recently, but I do think it's going to break soon and see a nice push to the upside for USD CHF. But as you can see, we're still holding on to it. Very strong close down the 10 a.m. So probably this momentum could take us to the upside. We do have a little bit of resistance there, which did send us back down, but I do think USD CHF could be on its way back up, back to go and test that resistance up there. Next, we're going to take another look at USD JPY. Now, USD JPY kind of broke out its consolidation a little bit earlier on, but as you can see, it was a bit of a false breakout. We did get closed below that that box, if you say, and then we see price close back inside of it, and now, well, it's starting to look a little bit bullish because this is the first time price has actually closed above that trend line there in the market. So potentially could be seeing price continuing to the upside potentially, and maybe see price continuing a lot further potentially. Of course, if it's not a false breakout, because we can see the next candle just goes right back below. But if we do hold that, could be seeing a nice push to the upside for UCJPY, sorry, after this really nice move to the upside, bit of bearish retracement there, and could be seeing price continuing to the upside. Sorry, I hope you can hear my voice. If you can't, just let me know. Next, we're going to take a look at Euro GBP. Now, Euro GBP looking very bearish right now. As you can see here, very strong support there, put us in a nice move to the upside, but I see 10 a.m. candle close right below there. So we are looking very bearish. You can see with the daily close there yesterday, looking very bearish there as well. So again, I did say we'll probably see a breakout of this support level to the downside for Euro GBP. As you can see, we are moving to the downside there for Euro GBP. Price was just consolidating really between that support and that resistance on the hourly chart, and we have broken to the downside, so potentially could see that move continue a lot further. Of course, as long as we stay below that support, if we get back above it, probably just have another false breakout. But right now, very strong close to the downside there for Euro GBP. I do think we could see further downside movement for Euro GBP. Next, we'll take a look at Euro JPY. Again, another one similar to Euro USD for this one. Still looking quite bearish here. We had a nice push to the downside. Price sort of came out to retest this area of resistance here. Resistance there, resistance broke back below 10 resistance again, and had a very strong close to the downside there. So again, bias is still to the downside for Euro JPY. We are stuck at support currently right now, as you can see here. We've got support there, and currently acting as support there. So if we get below that, we could be seeing a really nice drop to the downside for Euro JPY potentially, and see price go a lot further to go and test the support that we have all the way down there potentially, because again, you can see on the daily chart a really nice swing to the downside there. This bullish movement here on the daily could just be some retrace, and we expect price to continue to the downside after that. But currently right now we have some support, probably see a little bit better on the hourly chart. As you can see, support there, currently testing again there. But as you can see, really strong close to the downside. So I think we do have the momentum. I think we do have the momentum to go and break that and see a really nice drop to the downside to go and test the lows down there for Euro JPY. Currently, no, I did close my USD CAD trade yesterday because I was trying to hold them for a trade to go and test the support there, the resistance up there. But as you can see, we did fall to the downside, so I did exit that trade. Again, not too sure about some short-term opportunities right now. Potentially maybe GPUSD for move to the downside, but I'm not sure if that trade is ready quite yet. You can see on the hourly did have some nice price action there, but as you can see with the candle just before, we did see a doji, so a little bit of indecision there. Potentially GPUSD could see it fall to the downside, but I probably wouldn't get in now after that doji, after you see there in the market, because again, represents a bit of indecision. Got the support there. It's basically a 50-50 which way price could go after that for GPUSD. So not too sure for that one. Again, you can see in the 4-hourly chart we didn't really close convincingly either. Probably wanted to see a nice bearish price action there to see a drop to the downside, but right now price is just kind of hovering above there. You can see GPUSD is right back at the highs, but we could potentially be seeing price breaking out to the upside potentially if price does hold that support and breaks through that resistance, because again, over on the higher time frames we are still bullish for GPUSD. But if we do get back below that support there, which is holding us moving sideways really, we could see a nice drop to the downside all the way to this level here, really key level of support. So potentially could be seeing a nice push there, but again, price is so far holding it, and you can see for 10 a.m. well, the last previous candle on the hourly time frame had a bit of indecision, so again it's 50-50, but right now that support is holding. GPJPY is similar to GPUSD. As you can see, if this one was still quite bullish with this one, we held the support level here, previous resistance. If I take this across, you can see a really nice level of resistance, held the support, and price is looking bullish there on the hourly. 4-hourly, we're still creating some new highs there. It looks like we're going to go and test the wick that I drew a couple of days ago for GPJPY. As you can see here, we had the wick all the way up there, connected with a line across. We had a nice move to the downside after that level. So I do think price is just going to go and test that wick, probably just maybe wick above that wick, just to take up some stop losses, because again, that's right at the highs there. So a lot of stop losses would just be above that level. So you might see prices continue to the upside and break through that that resistance up there, because we did close above that resistance yesterday, I think it was, and now you can see we're still bullish from then on, and price hasn't really shown any signs of slowing down here on the 4-hourly. So good to see price maybe climb higher a little bit for GBJPY, potentially to go and test that line up there, or maybe even higher if we see the momentum pick up a little bit. But as you can see on the daily as well, very strong bullish close yesterday, and price is continuing that same momentum to the upside. So right now GBJPY is looking bullish here on the 4-hourly chart. Hourly, again, not clear cut for that one, but again, still bullish price action there. A lot of wicks to the downside, and 4-hourly as well. Next, we're going to take a look at GPAUD. Now, GPAUD slowly still climbing to the upside for this pair. As you can see here, very choppy wicks up and down all over the place here. But as you can see, we're still kind of just keep on with that current uptrend there. I do think price is potentially going to come up to that resistance up there around 1.79. We do have some resistance. If you look left, take that across there, that price is still kind of stuck in right now. As you can see, if I kind of take into account all the wicks there, this whole area is a bit of resistance, so might see price retrace a little bit from that area. But if you do get above that, I do think 179 is probably the next stop for GPAUD. As you can see, very strong close there to the upside at 10 a.m. there as well. So again, GPAUD is still looking bullish, very choppy market right now, and potentially could see price continue higher unless we start to see some strong reversal candles, or maybe a trend line break, because this market is very choppy right now. Hey, how are you doing? How's your trading going as well? Hope it's all going well. Next, we'll take a look at CAD-JPY. Now, CAD-JPY for me on the 4-hourly chart, it looks like just basically have a range there. Really, again, it's not really clear cut if we're trending to the upside or to the downside here. For CAD-JPY, again, we've got some highs up there, but then prices come back and made some lower lows there. So CAD-JPY moving in a range right now. So from a 4-hourly point of view, hard to work out which way we could be going. Daily though, it looks like we're kind of stuck at that resistance that we have up here on CAD-JPY, and we could be seeing a push to the downside. But I do think CAD-JPY needs to break through that support that we have there. A break of that support could mean that we could be on a bearish trend in the market, because I do think we do have this trend line here, which is kind of still intact for CAD-JPY. Again, you can see we're kind of just resting on that same trend line there. Had a bullish close yesterday, so price closing back inside that trend line. So we probably need to see a break of that support to really confirm that, yeah, CAD-JPY is on its way down. I potentially could be seeing a move all the way down to around 78, because if I zoom out, you can see we are definitely in a range here for CAD-JPY. Resistance up there, support down there. Could be seeing a really nice drop from a daily point of view. Again, that's more long term, but could be seeing that happen. But right now, 4-hourly point of view, again, very unclear which way we could go, because price is just literally arranging there. Yeah, pound's still strong across practically every pair, I think, potentially. Even Euro GBP is moving to the downside there, but I think Euro is weak currently, to be fair, right now. But yeah, looking at some of the pound pairs, GPAD, GBPJPY, GPUSD, GPCHF, again, still bullish. So yeah, GP is very bullish this morning currently, and hasn't really showed signs of slowing down just yet. Maybe we might see some correction coming up late today, maybe just see a big drop in GBP and price kind of correct itself. But right now, price is looking very bearish for the pound. Next, we're going to take a look at Euro NZD. Now, Euro NZD is still looking very bearish for this pair. As you can see, price is still falling to the downside, creating some lower lows in the market. We did create another low low when we broke past that level of support. As you can see, price went to test it as resistance here on the hourly, and price is continuing to the downside there. So yeah, USD looks like it could be on its way down even further. Again, you can see the daily trend is very much to the downside, weekly as well, very much to the downside for the past well, almost a year really, and it looks like it could be on our way to go and test this low down here on the weekly time frame. You can see a really nice support there. Push to the upside, could be on its way to go and test that area. So USD could be trending to the downside a little bit further, potentially before we start to see any major reversals or counter trend moves back to the upside for USD. But right now we are looking quite bearish here, and potentially could see price continue, especially with that strong 10 a.m. close there against that resistance. So price could still be on its way down for USD. Yeah, I was looking at USGP earlier. That one still looks very bearish. Again, we're still on a downtrend here, so I think we could be going further to the downside for USGP actually. But again, depends how long a move you're looking for, because USGP does move quite choppy as well. So you could see a really nice move to the upside of, I don't know, 40-50 pips really for USGP, even though the trend is still to the downside. So could still be some opportunities there, but again, just got to wait for the confirmation, because right now looking very bearish for UGP, but again, could be seeing a push to the upside. But from a daily point of view, it does look like we're trying to break through this area of support. As you can see here, previous resistance there, support, support, support. It looks like price is wanting to break through that level. So potentially from a daily point of view, could see price move to the downside a lot further for EUR/GBP here. But again, yeah, price is still looking bearish, so just need to be patient and wait for those confirmations. But I think long term EUR/GBP is still on its way down, but could see a nice spring back to the upside for EUR/GBP and retrace some of that bearish move that we had recently for that pair. Next, we're going to take a look at NZD CAD. Now, NZD CAD, I was saying yesterday that we had this key level resistance, well, probably earlier this week, that we have this key level resistance that price could reverse at and see another swing to the downside. But as you can see, we've got a really strong close above that area, so now that area is actually support. So I actually probably expect NZD CAD to come back to highs potentially for that pair, and probably come and test this area here, just because we're breaking above some key levels of prior resistance, now turning support. So again, could see some retrace back into this level to go and retest it as support again. So might see the market fall over to the downside, test it as support, and then see price continue higher. But right now, for me, NZD CAD is still looking bullish here, so I probably do expect price to continue higher to the upside for that pair, and probably to go and test the area. But again, might see some retrace before that price continues higher for that pair. NZD USD, again, similar to NZD CAD, we broke out this consolidation again yesterday. As you can see, really strong close above that area, but we did test a really key level of resistance in the market. As you can see, resistance there, support, resistance, resistance, acting as resistance there again as well. So we broke to the upside, but then price kind of got rejected and sent back down by that resistance. So I believe if we get above that level, price is probably going to come back to the highs here for NZD USD and go and test this area up there. If we get back into the consolidation, and then we just have a bit of more consolidation really at that point. But for me, if we get above that level there, NZD USD could be on its way back to the highs all the way up there. And you can see on the daily chart, we're still in the bullish trend really. And if you get above that level, that's kind of saying, yeah, we're still on our way to the upside, and potentially you could even see some higher highs in the market, because again, the higher time frames are still pointing up for NZD USD. Next, we're going to take a look at AUD/JPY. Now, AUD/JPY for me, again, it looks like it wants to push lower, because we did see a really nice close to the downside on 10 a.m. As you can see, previous resistance there, so that's the downside, retested it again, had a wick to the upside as price opened again for the next daily candle. And we saw that 10 a.m. Strong bearish candle take us back to the downside. So could be seeing another push lower, but if we get above that resistance, I'm probably again favoring AUD/CAD ADJPY, sorry, to go back to the highs again for this pair. Really nice area of resistance across here. Kind of a bit of a double top there, tested it once, tested twice, fell to the downside. But as you can see, ever since we fell, we kind of really struggled to get any type of bearish trend going really for ADJPY, and almost formed a double bottom after that. As you can see here, support there as well. So a break of that resistance will probably mean us coming back to the highs again for ADJPY, and could be seeing a bullish AD potentially, and see price coming back to that resistance up there. But of course, if price does respect this resistance, which it is so far doing, as you can see with this bearish candle here, if it does respect it, probably do expect to see another swing back to the downside, back into this same support, and probably just see price ranging at that point for ADJPY, and a break of that support could start to mean the bearish trend that we've been waiting to see for this pair, because of, again, really nice push to the upside. You want to see some deeper retracement of that pair before any continuation really. But again, break to the upside could just mean the continuation is happening sooner. If you do fall to the downside again, you probably have a range at that point, and price is kind of just moving sideways for ADJPY. So currently not in any positions right now. Do have USD CAD. Well, I did have USD CAD yesterday, did close that position because again, we did see that really strong move to the downside, and price was kind of so close to the area that I was expecting price to go, but then we did fail to the downside there. So not in any positions right now. We'll be taking a look at some pairs like GPUSD for potential moves to the downside, but as you can see, very choppy there on the hourly, and for hourly there's nothing much happening really for that pair. And again, GP is still looking bullish, so need to see some weakness in GBP for us to really get any opportunities to the downside for that pair. But we'll be taking a look at some pairs, AUDUSD as well. Again, not too much happening. EURUSD still looking bearish, but again, might see some retracement on some of these moves, because again, very big moves to the downside. You want to see some retracement first before you expect the move to continue to the downside there. So I'm going to see how some pairs get on today. If anyone wants me to take a look at any different markets, any different pairs, wants my analysis, or just wants my opinion on anything, just drop it in the live chat. I'll make sure I'll give you some analysis or my opinion on anything. And if you need any trades, let me know as well. I'll take a look at them as well, and just put it in the live chat. Okay, so we're going to take a look at GBP CAD. Okay, so for GBP CAD, starting on Friday, you can see we're creating some new highs here and the market price is pushing up. I think we do have some resistance here around 1.75. We did see this push to the downside here on the Friday chart. You can see a really nice push. And we wicked into that same area again down the 4 hourly. If we jump in the hourly, again, does it look prices falling to the downside, but price action is not that strong currently for GP CAD. Probably nice if maybe price to go and retest it again, give us a bit of a double top, and then start to see maybe an engulfing candle or some type of bearish price action there, and could be seeing a push to the downside just because from 4 hourly point of view, we're taking out these previous highs and coming to the next level, really that prior resistance, and we could be seeing a push to the downside there, but again, not convinced just yet from the price action there on the hourly time frame, just because you can see all those wicks to the downside. It does show a lot of indecision there in the price action. So maybe if price was to have one more push to the upside, get rejected by that same area of resistance and see a nice strong bearish engulfing candle, for example, that could be a nice confirmation there to look to short the market. But as of yet, again, not really convinced with the price action here with all those wicks around there. If all these candles were put together, could be seen an engulfing candle, but again, not really convinced by the wicks yet. But again, if you do maybe get a close below our moving averages, could be seeing a push lower for this chart. But I think the best opportunity probably if maybe prices have one more push to the upside and give us some price action there for maybe a double top there on the hourly, and could see a nice swing to the downside from hourly point of view, because again, 4 hourly comes to that nice area of resistance. You can already see the previous 4 hourly candle had a nice wick to the upside, tested that same area, got rejected and pulled down quite a lot there. So could be seeing a nice push to the downside, maybe back to this level here, this 4 hourly level. So from hourly point of view, a push down to there at least potentially, nice area of resistance and support, and go and test that as support now. So yeah, could be seeing a nice push to the downside from that hourly time frame there, but again, just probably wait for those confirmations just before getting into the trade. But it could be seeing a nice push to the downside if this resistance there around 1.75 holds. So again, I hope that analysis helped. Okay, so for USD CAD, um, okay, for this one, for hourly time frame, the overall picture for this is still a ranging market here. As you can see, clear level of resistance going through the market there, clear level of support going through the market there, and prices just going up and down from that level. We are looking quite bullish now, so potentially could be seeing price going to test that area here from a Friday point of view, because as you can see, we had a swing to the downside, tested the support, bit of a false breakout there, but it looks like it could be swinging back to the upside. We did have that bearish leg to the downside, but we held this minor support level. And for me, right now, USCAD is quite unclear on the Farley chart, just because we're ranging and now we're finding levels within the range. So again, it's not very clear cut for this one, but as you can see, the price action is very bullish here. Could be seeing a test of that for a fourth time. Jump down to the hourly. I see what you talking about. The resistance there broke above it, broke back below, retesting as resistance again. But again, you need to wait for those confirmations. It could possibly hold here and see a move down, but if price does break above, obviously that does invalidate the pattern, and probably price could just be continuing to the upside to go and test that resistance all the way up there on the 4-hourly time frame. So that's still a possibility up there. But again, price needs to hold this level at least, or we can take it when price breaks that level down there. But currently, you can see with the current candle, we are quite bullish right now on the hourly time frame, and we've still got about 10 minutes to go, 11 minutes to go before that candle closes. So need to wait how the candle closes and probably wait for the candle after to see if we are in fact holding. But if we do break through that resistance there, probably see price come all the way up to test that 4-hourly resistance that we got going and just continue this range, and we'll finally see a breakout potentially to the upside, or we might see another swing back down. Okay, so it's just gone 12 p.m, so we're going to look to end the live stream shortly. We're going to do a quick rundown, see what happened so far since I last spoke at 10 a.m. And see how the pairs have gone. So AUDUSD still looking bearish here. As I was saying on the 10 a.m. candle, as you can see here, we had a push to the upside. Price was failing to break some resistance. Very strong close to the downside, so expecting to see another push to the downside. So I do think we could be coming all the way down to go and test the support, really key level support, tested numerous times. Price is still failing to break through it, so I think we're kind of going to have another attempt at trying to break through that resistance there, and then we'll see how price gets on after that, whether we get another swing back up again or finally see price break through that resistance. Euro USD still looking bearish here again. Numerous wicks in that area, so price might find a little bit of support in that area, but I do think we could be on our way to the downside to go and test this level here for Euro USD. It's taking its time, but I do think with that strong momentum that we're having on 10 a.m, we could be seeing a nice drop to the downside to go and test this support area here for Euro USD, potentially even break through it even, and go a lot further and potentially going to test that 1.2 level there on the daily. But right now looking very bearish right now. As long as we stay under that resistance, I think we're still heading our way to the downside there. USD CAD looking bullish again, currently a little bit of minor resistance there, but price is definitely ranging for USD CAD. Clear resistance above there, clear support there. Price is just kind of struggling between those two areas, but currently price is bullish right now with that momentum. I do think we could be seeing another swing to contest that area up there and retest that resistance. Whether we'll break through it, I'm not too sure. But since we're holding that minor resistance, price is looking bullish again. Could be seeing a swing to go and test the highs up there for USD CAD potentially, and maybe even see a breakout of that resistance. USD CHF looking bullish again, still expecting this one to continue to the upside. Price is holding that support there and expecting to see a swing to the upside into this area of resistance for USD CHF. Again, not too sure if we'll break through it finally, but I do think price could be seeing a break of that level to go and test that 0.9 level, which is the support just through here. Really nice area of support, could be seeing that tested as resistance there, but again price will probably take some time before it gets there. But nonetheless, for hourly chart we are looking bullish, and I do expect to see a push into that resistance for USD as long as we hold that support. And USD looks like we had that close above at 10 a.m. Again, it was a strong close above, not overall convincingly, but it does look like we could be seeing a push to the upside for USD holding this support through here. As you can see here, we now support. Price did a bit of a false breakout earlier on, as you can see, broke back above, held at support. Could be seeing a break of that trend line, and a break of that trend line could mean price coming all the way back to the highs up here again, and just go and test that as resistance. But could be seeing a really nice push to the upside for USD. And finally GPUSD, this one started to look bearish here. On the hourly, looking very bearish, as you can see. Broke through this support that I was talking about earlier. Very strong area of support through there, which is now going to be acting as resistance. And if you do hold that, that probably could be seeing the 4 hourly start to following the hourly chart and seeing us push into that support there potentially, or even further. But again, probably need to stay below that resistance there on the hourly time frame, and could be seeing momentum continue us to the downside, and price holding that resistance up there on the 4H, which is this prior resistance here. Price holding it, a bit of a double top really. Could be seeing a nice push down for GPUSD, but again, wait for the 4H candle to close. Don't really want to jump the gun there, because price could eventually pull back and actually close bullish potentially. So we'll look to see how it closes there at 2 p.m, and potentially could see a nice swing to the downside for that pair. But yeah, that's the end of the live stream. I hope you all enjoyed it and found it useful. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and also leave a like on the video if you're feeling generous. But thank you again for watching, and until the next one, I will see you next time.